Artlist.io.
Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop. Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop.
Music licensing reimagined.
I fucked up this hustle, baby, we hustle, but the oh my I fucked up this hustle, baby, we hustle, but the oh my Punch my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Friday the 13th, by the way.
Dude, this is the day. Watch out for black cats. You know what I mean?
Right. Black cats, and if you're in our area, watch out for the wind.
Oh my gosh.
Looks like we got some fires going on too, not too far from us, but
yeah, they even shut the interstates down. You know, if you have any loads going to Wyoming during the friggin' early spring, you may as well just friggin' forget it. It's going to be late.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They shut that friggin' interstate down constantly. It's a wild area. This time of year is always nuts. I even seen we were moving helping some people source some loads going back up into like the Calgary area.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the winter again up there. It's just this time of year, man, it is hectic.
Dude, the weather is it's just been insane all over the map here, but yeah, you know, honestly, on my trip yesterday, it's interesting since you brought me to this industry. I noticed things I didn't notice on the road, you know, so it's just really interesting the things I got to notice. One, not only the wind, but some of the you know, God bless the carriers, man. Like some of those guys driving in that wind. I saw a couple of tractors tilted over. So I hope, you know, obviously I hope they're all good, but it's just crazy.
GZA1A, what's up? What's going on? Man, what a week. That doesn't even explain the week. What an effed up week, man. If you were in contracts, if you had a contract this week as a broker, as a carrier, hopefully you had a fuel surcharge involved. If you're a contract guy and it's just a flat rate, and there's no, you took it in the shorts, man. There was, I bet it was just, you got to tell us what your week was like. If you're watching today, tell us what your week was like. I know, you know, we show, you know, fuel on e-carrier check. I don't know if you can you zoom in on that or not?
Oh, yeah.
Fuel went bonkers, man. And honestly, you know, like we're talking about the war, the strait, the craziness of what's going on over in the Middle East.
Yeah.
What a hot potato. Chief Freight Hauler, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man?
How are you, man? I hope you had a good week. I hope it was productive and you made some money. That's what we try to do every week, right? Tell us about your week, though. I hope you got some extra fuel this week. Obviously, if you're looking, what we're showing right here is just the weekly diesel average. This was pulled on the 9th, so just a few days ago. But what an absolute just chaotic friggin' this week has been a banger. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. You can take that down, Nate. But you know, so was the last week. Yeah, it's just been chaotic, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we started the week, there was kind of this little rumble of brokers calling us going, hey, we're struggling getting stuff covered. You know, what do we do? How do we go? You know, obviously Carrier Check, the number one sourcing platform in the entire galaxy. Yep. If you're looking for trucks, we can help you out, right? This week has me drinking again. I understand.
This whole year has been great.
Oh man, I love it. This week
has me drinking.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, man. Some of the people though. Well, I got to meet with a couple on Monday. You kind of took over the week this week, so you've seen the craziness, you know, this week. But yeah, just hearing some of those brokers I talked with, they're stressed, obviously, and like you said, hopefully they got some surcharge and something to back that up, man. It's fucking crazy.
100%. Let's see. So how long do you think this will keep going? Man, that is a great question. That I wish I had a crystal ball. You know, in my opinion, anytime you get involved in the Middle East, they got a lot going on over there. You know, I'm sure, you know, you've got the oil reserves that were released this week. But man, I tell you what, it's just tough. You know, the new leader of Iran said, I think in his press conference, he wasn't going to open up that strait. You know, there's a lot cooking. My guess, I don't know. This is like COVID. Remember when I think we did a show during COVID, or I don't know if we weren't even around in COVID, were we?
No, I wasn't around.
But I remember somebody kept saying, well, this is only going to last a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this
yeah.
is going to go for a bit. That's my only thought. I bet this goes for a while. You know, if you get these big name CEOs, you know, talking about potentially what happens. I know Goldman Sachs was doing some speculation yesterday. The CEO of Maersk was I think you even have the quotes. The CEO of Maersk was giving some stuff. Give us some. What are they saying here?
Well, so what you got here printed off, it looks like Goldman Sachs raises price forecast twice in 1 week. So, you know, we were chatting before the show. They're now calling 98 average price per barrel, by the way.
Right.
March through April with an extreme scenario of 145. So that's a big jump.
Yeah. You know, Chief Freight Hauler says there's a banger of a week. I mean, we walked in Monday morning and barrel was like $1.15.
Right.
And carriers knew it.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm not doing it for that. You know what I mean? I know one of the guys that we talk to constantly down in Texas, great dude, does a lot of stretch stuff, a lot of kind of specialty equipment stuff. You know, he saw a 45-cent raise in fuel just across the street. And so costs go up, you know what I mean? I think, you know, honestly, carriers need to be paid according to market costs and you know, the people that are probably struggling this week are shippers that have contracts, and I bet rejection rates are through the roof. You know, these rates aren't as high as the pandemic rates. Very close, just getting the trucks at non-domicile CDLs rule kicked out with the highway onboarding. Yeah, I think, you know, it's just an interesting time. You know, when we were in the pandemic, as you like to call it, COVID, whatever, you know, we saw that crazy yo-yo, man. We saw, I remember it wildly vividly. It was like, and I was brokering March like 22nd, and we're friggin' just straight downhill. I mean, I was buying trucks for nothing, 89 cents a friggin' mile. It was nuts. And then like April 20th hit, and we're on a friggin' ride straight back up. And it was like the nuttiest thing. You know, Chief Freight Hauler says, I love the chaos. It was definitely mass chaos. The rates aren't as high, but there is some interesting things going on now that we didn't deal with during the pandemic. That I don't think, you know, the only people that were really double brokering were the guys out of Glendale, you know, California. Glendale, California double brokers. Nobody really even knew what was going on. Landstar obviously was the OG there, but I think we just have some interesting aspects, and carriers are like, I'm not going to haul it if I'm not going to get paid, you know. And you know, for those of you that are just posting on boards, boy, if you don't have a rate on there, nobody's calling. I watched it this week. You know, we have a couple people, a couple brokers that we get to check in with that have been our guinea pigs since day one, and I saw it. I watched it. It was awesome. Yeah.
Talk about the broker you're helping out this week. You talked about some of his carrier relationships. Tell me more about how that was going.
I think, boy, I tell you what, and we've been preaching this for a while. You know, build relationships now. Start talking to these people. You know, I think a lot of brokers, and I saw it in that office, a lot of brokers just talk to carriers and move forward. But the difference with this guy is that he's building relationships with. He knows them. He knows their families. He knows what's going on in their life. It's not just a transaction to him. It's a way of having a relationship. He loves to chat, right? But during times like this, guess what?
I got him.
Those cats are calling him back on, hey, what do you got? Hey, let's just treat me fair. You know what I mean? Let's get it. You know, we're both gonna make some money. Let's just treat me fair. You know, and he works on fuel surcharge anyway, so he's not really too necessarily worked up when it comes to this. Guy kind of operates at one speed, but I tell you what, his carriers love him. The following's wild because of just the sheer fact that he's willing to take the extra 30, 40 seconds of having a chat about what they're seeing out there and what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That really does change things, especially at times like this. And obviously when COVID was around, huge to have those relationships.
100% huge. Let's see, Armenians double brokers out of out of the Glendale, North Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. It was wild. That was always the thing. Oh, you're out of Glendale? Oh, yeah, you're out. So much rejection this week. It's very tough. Yeah, honestly, this was probably when I look at like the sourcing on eCarrier, when I talk to all the brokers, man, people struggled getting trucks. And if you got a truck, you paid for it, which is fine. I think trucks need to be paid.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw rates where I was helping a guy move power onlys out of the Southwest this week, Arizona, New Mexico. And we saw rates anywhere from, $3 a mile to $8.50 a mile.
Holy.
It was wild, man. So I really enjoyed it. I don't think, when it comes to the barrels of oil, obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if next week it just kind of chills at 105 for a little bit or something in there. But I'm sure we're going to continue to see fuel creep up, which sucks because it just impacts, you and I, right? The fuel,
driving, flying.
I still got to get a loaf of bread every week.
Right.
I still got to get a friggin', dozen eggs.
Right.
My kids love both.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm very blessed to live a block away from a store. So, but yeah, no, it is going to affect a lot of our loved ones.
Trucks are going to get here, and eggs are going to go up, and fuel's everything goes up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm going to go grab those 99-cent eggs next door right now while they're there.
Exactly.
I'm sure they're all gone now, but
exactly.
But no, I thought this was interesting too. Wood Mackenzie put 200 is now outside the realms of possibility. The IEA coordinated the largest emergency oil reserve release in history, 400 million barrels. But that didn't matter how much the market, releasing 3.3 million barrels a day does nothing against 1.5 million barrels a day of losses. That's kind of crazy. So,
Yeah.
How with some of those brokers that you were talking with this week, what made them so successful on eCarrier Check? How were they sourcing these drivers? What were they looking for? And how are they starting these conversations?
Yeah, I think, just being a little bit more real. I think there's still a lot of carriers out there that are just going to hang up on you. They'll be rude. Finding the right carrier mix is important.
And I love the carriers that understand the market as well.
Yeah, 100%. I want to pick up the phone and just happen to chat with you for $1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think as you get into sourcing, even like today, if it's a little bit slower today for you, call your shipper, find out what they've got moving next week, and see if you can start working on it now instead of waiting for next week. As long as you've got some time, there's some planning that can happen, and it's a little bit easier on your week instead of trying to book that load today.
Right.
So if you have more time, today's the day. Also the same thing goes with, when you're having success. I found that a lot of people don't want to talk on the phone. I saw that texting was more successful. Gabe, what's up, brother? What's going on? I seen 6-7 miles away. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think we'll keep seeing that for a while too.
What's up, Gabe?
Gabe, what's going on, man? I hope you're selling those containers. If you are in the Iowa market, hit Gabe up. He'll get you a friggin' container, man. Drop your company number or name in there so it is SEO stuff. I think it's important if you are looking at how you communicate with your carriers, whether it's ELD communication, it's email communication, it's friggin', picking up the phone. I would add text into your repertoire because carriers want to text. Oh, I can do this real quick and keep doing what I'm doing, right? Especially if you're just going to be in a transactional situation. Maybe you pick up the phone and find out how they are, what they do, what's a good lane, right? Some basic stuff. But to start a conversation, not a terrible thing. But in those texts, don't just say the friggin' lane. Just say, hey, here's what I'm working on. Open to a flexible rate as long as it's fair. Or if you have a rate, throw it out there.
Yeah.
But be ready for, if it's a cheap rate, be ready for them to either not respond or respond in a rude way, right?
Yeah.
I saw a couple F-offs this week. I loved it. I'm into trucker talk. A lot of them are you can use those F words as much as you want. So
yeah. What's up, Gary? Gabe, there's Gabe's information there. He's not hard to find. He's right. Get him on LinkedIn as well.
Need them.
Yeah.
Need them. I think, obviously we're talking a lot about carriers this week and trying to get them paid and trying to get loads moved. A lot of rejection stuff like Cheesy 818 saying, but man, I tell you what, this is prime to be talking to shippers to go, what are you doing with your carriers? What are you doing with those loads that you're, getting rejected on and thrown out to the spot market? How are you minimizing those costs? Do you have brokers that post on loads and you're just in that same mix, or are you working with brokers that potentially have better relationships in certain parts of the country? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when I was on a call with another broker via Zoom, we were making a call, and right away the shipper rejected him, say, "Hey, well, we got our own carriers," or "Hey, we have local relationships." Right away the broker kind of went, "Oh, okay, have a good week, whatever." What should be that follow up? When they say, "Oh, hey, we have our local relationships," or if we do have something going outside the norm, we have another broker. What should be a response to that, as compared to, "Okay, we'll have a good week. Hope it works out."
Yeah, I think right now is about building trust. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. A lot of shippers felt that this week, and they felt the squeeze because their regulars weren't quoting $1,200 a lane. They were quoting $1,600 a lane, right? So right now, if you're responding back, and if I this is what I would do right now. All the email and phone call rejections you got in the last 6 months, okay? Any of them. This is actually really interesting, by the way. Looking for tilt-bed carriers, I got them. Wonderful asset if you know what this is all about. I would wholeheartedly hit up Gabe. That's an interesting conversation. But right now, in the last 6 months, however many rejections you got on the phone or in email, I would call them and just say, "Hey, I know the market's a little volatile right now. If you're interested in just getting just a comparative rate to any of your current providers, brokers, or carriers, I'd love to help. What we focus on specifically is building relationships with carriers right in your area, not going to load boards, and I think that may be an asset to you. Let me know if that works." And I don't think you have to be pushy right now. I think people are they're on edge, man. Right. Everybody's on edge. Everyone's moving at a light speed. The drivers can't speak. There's claims all over the place. You got fuel everywhere. It's just a hectic time.
Right, and you're 100% right, man. Because I know, looking for some of those emails from, his name's Jake.
Yep.
Some of those emails that I was reading was the shipper literally word for word, "If you got a truck, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm flexible on the price."
Yeah.
Like, they're getting to the point where they aren't even getting their loads moved because
100%.
brokers that they're not able to find those carriers, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of getting to that point where the shipper's like, "Let me know your rate. Let's get it done."
Yeah. I've been waiting for Craig Fuller to pump out some rejection rates. I've had so many shippers call me, people that have never answered an email, call me asking for help.
Oh, wow.
If you are looking for a shipper, start stirring the pot. Just start cooking. Because you got it. Right now is the time. We were dealing with, you couldn't get a shipper on the phone. Now you can get shippers on the phone. You know what I mean? And all you have to do is start up the conversation. "Hey, I'm GZ818, which is kind of an awkward conversation. You wouldn't say that.
"Hey, I'm Jeezy."
Yeah, I'm GZ818. How's fuel treating you this week? What are you seeing from carriers? Don't even ask them about their business or what you do. Just ask them what's going on in their life.
Right.
Be friggin' curious. You know what I mean? I promise you're going to get a conversation going.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah.
That's cool, Jeezy, though. I love that, man. Hopefully you're getting some, you're setting up some new customers, maybe by the early next week, or moving some loads, man.
Yeah, anytime you can help somebody through.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you can help, and this doesn't matter what it is, whether you're a carrier or it's a relationship or whatever it may be, anytime you can help somebody through a traumatic time in their life,
they'll remember that.
You'll stick around for a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that works the same way with brokers. So take the time to become a valuable asset and call some shippers because they need your help. Right. Shippers' lives matter too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
I mean, we know this from a fact because last week we had some great conversations with a couple shippers.
100%.
We're hearing it from them.
Yeah.
So
shippers are jumping on the platform. I love it.
Well, Jared, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything that maybe these brokers or carriers should be getting ready for next year, or not next year, sorry, next week? Obviously, we can't tell the future, but what can they do to prepare themselves if things kind of keep going the way they do? Just kind of give us a few tips, man.
Yeah, I think if you have a shipper that has repetitive lanes that you may be rejecting, or Or even like you have somebody that just has repetitive areas, start picking up the phone and talking to carriers and start building those relationships. That's number one. I think right now too, if you have a shipper, right now is a great time to understand that they're vulnerable and you need to be talking to them, continuing that relationship, building that relationship, but also understanding, hey, here's some things I'm doing to try to minimize costs. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to keep things right where we need them to be. Talk to them about fuel. Obviously, talk to them about general rate increases. If you don't have enough cash, hey man, we're not getting things moved right now in the spot market for this. I think just being completely transparent with your shippers right now is so important. And so I think you've got two sides of the coin to walk on. Build relationships, be transparent with your shippers. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Show up when you show up, and keep being good service. You know what I mean? And I think those are the things for next week. And just remember to breathe. I mean, it's definitely been tough. I have contracts, fuel charge, but having those combos this week with shippers as well. Yeah, you just have to, because you can't keep losing. Brokers just can't keep losing every day. Today would be the best day to call shippers. 100% agree. Call shippers today. I totally agree. I love that you're on today and helping us. We can't control what the market does. Whether, and that cat asked how long is this going to be? Whether this lasts a week or a month, you got to provide more value than someone else. And that's how you're going to get a shipper. That's how you're going to get a carrier. And that's how you're going to grow your business, right? So control what you can control this week, and just do what you do. Don't put an S on your chest and say, yeah, I can cover it for that. If you don't have a truck, don't give it back. That's not fun.
Right.
So
even if it's kind of one of those situations where you break even,
yeah,
you're providing that great
you
service.
still got the value and you're not giving it back. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'm excited to talk again next week and see where things are going. You know what I mean? So we're right here on the front lines with you guys. So
yeah. Well, Jared, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you for kind of taking over the week, talking to the brokers while I was gone, and just kind of hearing what it's like out there for the carriers and the brokers.
Yeah.
And like you're right, man. I'm really interested to see what next week brings. So we'll keep our nose in the market here and have some meetings and just kind of chat it out.
that's what we're doing.
We'll touch base next week, guys. I appreciate it for being here. Be safe out there.